This is Professor Dixon, and I'd like to take this opportunity to walk through the Week 1 lab assignment for applied spreadsheets. You may want to find yourself fast forwarding, pause, rewinding, and playing this video as needed for you to follow along. Before getting started, if you haven't done so already, take a moment and review the Week 1 announcement. You'll find helpful tips, resources, even the grading criteria. When you click on Week 1 and go to the lab work link of class, you'll see that we're looking at EX pages 61 through 62 in our e-textbook. On the left side of our course, you're going to want to click and navigate on the e-textbook link. Once you open your e-textbook, we're going to go specifically to the lab pages 61 and 62. You're going to see an example here of the sales analysis worksheet, but a little note to self. This worksheet is not in its final completed form, meaning there are some steps in this assignment that are not reflected here in this example. You want to have attention to detail, so let's go through all of the steps one by one together. When I look at page 62, we can see that we're going to start by creating the worksheet that we just viewed on that previous page. So I need to start a new Excel document or worksheet that is going to look very similar to this. Let me move this to the side, and I started a new blank workbook here in Excel. When I look at my example here in our textbook, I see that I'm looking at row 1 and columns A through F. And this is where I'm going to type in my company name. I'm going to want to merge these cells, so I'm going to go ahead and take a quick moment and actually merge the cells now. I'm going to do the same, follow the pattern for yearly sales that I see here in the example on page 61. I'm also going to want to merge the cells. You can right click as well and merge and find merge cells that way or up in the ribbon. Now as I look at my example, I see in row 4, column B, I have package A, B, C, D, and total. So I'm going to go ahead and follow right along with my example. And I want to put in my uppercase here quickly. And you'll want to be following along and typing this into your example spreadsheet as well. Again, looking at my example, I can see that I need to put in this information on the states, but on page EX62, it's a little easier to read. So I'm going to follow through and build my worksheet, populating in the necessary data. And once we get down to Virginia, the note to self on that is we're going to come back to that in one of the steps because we're going to need to change that. More on that later. You can see that the data, particularly in rows 9 and 10, the width extends out of that column. So you're going to want to do some column adjustments, and in a later lesson, I'll show you how we're going to adjust the columns and we can set specific widths so that our columns are very uniform and consistent. I need to continue transferring this data from this table 1-8 into my example. So you're going to want to take a moment and you can pause this video and type in all of your data. Because in video time, I don't want to consume all of your time when I type that in. I've already took the moment to type in all of that information from this table. So again, you're going to want to pause and make sure you complete that number 1 direction on page 62. When I look at step 2, here I'm going to use the sum function. And I want to look at the sum function to total up the state and company totals. I'm totaling up columns and rows essentially. So I'm going to select in column B, rows 5 through 11. And on my Formulas tab, I want to use the AutoSum sum function. When I actually select that function, I can see that displayed here where I can see precisely that is the function for addition for column B, row 5, all the way through column B, row 11. I'm going to do the same thing for the next columns, and I'm totaling out package B. Then I shall total up package C and D. Ultimately now I want to total up the states, individual rows. So I'm just going to now do the total for Florida, and then Georgia, and Louisiana, and Mississippi, North Carolina, and again, I'm sure you're following along to do exactly the same, and Virginia, and now I'm going to total up all of the totals in column F, and I'll use the sum function for that as well. Now I've just completed step 2. Let's look at step 3. Now I want to format the worksheet title and subtitle. So when I look at the title and subtitle, well, this is where I'm simply going to select the right font, and you'll want to follow along with your book and select the right font, font color, and center that, and bold it. So you'll want to make sure you take a moment and you follow that step as well. Again, refer to page EX62 in your course textbook. As we continue along, I now want to look at formatting the title across columns A through F, that's all formatted. And now I'm looking at step number 4. Step number 4, I'm looking at B, column B, row 4, all the way through column F, row 4. Now I want to use a headline style, and our book is calling for headline 3 cell style. I have the formatting option here on the ribbon, and I can see the different styles where I have many to choose from. I'm going to select the headline 3 style, and you can see that nicely puts that data into a nice format. I need to center these, so go ahead and center a line. Again, you might need to make some adjustments to your column widths so that you have everything that's as uniform as you can make it. Next, let's look, I'm going to format the range of cells A5 through 11 with an accent. I'm looking at a 20% accent 1. So again, I'm looking at A5 through F11. And so I am looking at adding in an accent, so that will be on the format, and I'm looking at a 20% accent. So I'll select that. You can see that gives that nice blue shading effect to my worksheet, which can help break up a database or cell so that it makes it a little easier to read and interpret the information. I'm also going to look at applying the total cell format style. So I'm looking at A12 through F12, and if I look at A12 through F12, I'll want to format and I'll select total. And you can see that gives that a very nice professional total line there for that formatting. The last thing I need to do is I want to format these cells B5 through F5 with the accounting number format. So if I look at B5 through F5, for formatting for a cell, you can right click or you can look up in the ribbon. And when you look up in the ribbon, we're looking for the accounting type. And when you're looking at the accounting type, you also will want to look at formatting, because you may need to, as you scroll through, look at adjusting the formatting as well. The next step of the direction has us formatting column B 12 through F12. So column B12 through F12. And again, we're looking at the accounting type. And I want to also look at some of my formatting options here. I'll come back to that one in just a moment. So what we have here is, after we've gone through and we've done that formatting, is we're going to create a 3D pie chart. And when we create the 3D pie chart, and this is really kind of bothering me, so I am jumping back to select all of these other cells, and I want to make this accounting as well, and I'm going to apply comma style to that. And go through these. Right you are. So I need to find out why I don't have this formatted correctly. So I'll come back and explore that one here in just a moment. So next step we're looking at is step 5 of creating a 3D pie chart. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that we are charting the appropriate information. And we're going to need to add a new sheet tab named yearly sales. So I'll go ahead and add in a new sheet tab. I want to name that yearly sales. And I know that I'm going to be putting in a pie chart. So back here, when I select my information and I look at my charts tab for pie charts, there's a 3D pie chart. I also can format my chart so that data will display nicely where I can see the values and I can also see the states. I'm going to want to right click on this chart because I want to move the chart, and I'm going to move this chart into yearly sales, and that's that new page that I created. And you're going to want to enlarge, and you can move and modify this chart a little bit and explore the chart features for the pie chart. But we're going to need to give this a name. And I'll give this a name as well. So again, you'll follow through those directions, and then in last step, you need to apply a purple color to yearly sales. So when you right click on a tab, you can select tab color, and you're going to want to apply a purple color to that. And remember, when you double click, you can actually name the spreadsheet accordingly, and that way you have all your tabs that are organized and numbered correctly. And then obviously we are just doing the first 6 steps, but you do need to save your workbook page and make sure you include your full name in your worksheet with the week number and load that into Dropbox. I thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to seeing your lab work.